Hello everyone. Today I am going to share my thoughts on the game Super Mario Odyssey for the Nintendo Switch. So as you could tell in my intro, I mentioned that I do gameplays as well. And if that includes the game reviews, then that part had more of a bigger part than it probably did have to begin with. So this was a really cool experience I've had with the game, and when I saw it on the trailer, I actually was really anticipated for it because it had a really cool concept because you get to see so many places. There was a kingdom that even represents Mexico, which is also kind of cool. It's actually really cool, and there was even one for New York City, and that was kind of like New York, and there was all even one that represented Japan. Now that part was actually kind of expected, and they even had plenty of costumes. They even had a samurai costume. Now that was actually really dope. It was actually awesome because now first I saw it as a possibility on a player essence video, where it had, I believe it must have had Shigeru Miyamoto wearing a shirt with a Mario dressed as a samurai, and and when I played the game, it actually has such costume. Okay, now guys, now if you guys haven't played the game, keep in mind that there are spoilers for any for those that haven't played the game. Like if you don't want to be spoiled by the story or the plot, let's say, I'd recommend playing the game and then checking my thoughts on it, unless you don't mind, and if you like to hear my thoughts anyway, and if I'd recommend this. So it starts where Bowser is actually a real what am I saying? He actually is prepared for an actual wedding with Peach, and while he usually kidnaps her a lot, this time he's doing it really. He's going a lot deeper than he usually does. This time he's actually being prepared for a wedding, and so is Peach actually. And Peach doesn't even like the wedding, and Mario has to save her once again. The controls itself were actually really good. I mean, they were. I mean, there were often times where the controls were a bit limited, maybe because Nintendo wanted to be able to let players be able to play with, wanted to make a way for players to be able to play with a single Joy-Con. I can understand that, but at the same time, as much as Nintendo wants to avoid people having to spend a Pro controller on that, I do not feel like that was the best idea ever. Because I think the best idea in terms of controls, because Nintendo could have allowed much more input, and that would make the game so much better. And plus, not to mention, what am I supposed to say? And plus, some people do the single Joy-Con might. There's already a big limit to it as well. You already had to hold a button. In that case, not the X button. Like, okay, well, you had to hold one of the buttons and do the joystick at the same time to look around. And good luck doing that. Good luck doing that, depending on what kind of stage you are on, because if you have to look around and move around at the same time, you're gonna be out of luck. Fortunately, however, there aren't that many times where you have to look and move at the same time, like you would have to do if you had the both Joy-Cons together or the Pro controller, which I personally don't have yet, but I'm cool without it right now. But yeah, if you get what I mean, yeah. And so yeah, the graphics were actually really good, and the music was also pretty cool, very nice to listen to. And yeah, can you imagine what it would be like? Like what if I'm starting to wonder if this could encourage Nintendo to make a sequel to this game, because that would be really cool. And this game was already a really good experience for me itself, because being able to capture opponents or enemies in that case, and being able to control them, like by using their abilities that they normally do. Like for example, you get to control tanks, the Goombas. They even had frogs involved, and even the fireballs, which were from the first Mario game. Those, they appear in there. Remember those fireballs where they jump out of the lava as obstacles? Well, they can be controlled as well, and even Lakidus as well. And actually, a lot of things can be controlled. Even fish, those actually control really well. Now, as enemies, when you're controlling an enemy, the NPCs will not recognize you as Mario. They'll recognize him as an enemy, and they will obviously tell you to get out of there. And if you want to talk to them, you cannot talk to them when you're controlling someone, but that's okay. And now there's a ship that Mario controls and to go from other worlds, and it has used as a source of power called power moons. Now there's even a plant for one in the City Kingdom or the Metro Kingdom. If I said that right, I'm sorry if I didn't, if that wasn't actually what it was called. But yeah, there was even a power plant that involved power moons themselves, and there was also this horrible puzzle. That was actually the one part that I did not like about this game. It was just really tedious. I mean, can you imagine how hard it was just to... I mean, I get it. It was supposed to be challenging, but I had to take so many movements just to do that. The same went for plenty of those kinds. Like, there were some parts where you had to flip a box around, and you'd have to get to the right side in order for it to be solved. And you won't believe how bad that was for me. That was like the one part I really did not like about the game. What I did like was the boss battles. They were actually pretty fun to fight. Even the first ones, even the dragon, which had a bit of irritation, which was a little bit irritating, that was at least some fun. Because can you imagine? Mario actually fought a realistic dragon, and you won't believe how awesome that felt to me. And you can even control a T-Rex too. Even though those dinosaurs have little arms, they can. Darn, those guys are crazy, and they're the only kind of creature that Mario has a limit to controlling because of their size, meaning that they're bigger than Bowser, which is probably kind of obvious. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but I'm very sure that was possible. But yeah, they even involved the moon, which involves collecting enough any power moons that you missed for more sides of the moon, and then you have to even collect more for an even darker side. That was actually a challenging part, but it was still really awesome. And now Mario actually did I say that Mario got to control Bowser? Because if I did, then yeah, that was actually possible. And Cappy actually kind of must have liked it a lot, and Peach is actually happy, and you won't believe how amazing that felt. And I mean Mario controlling Bowser. I mean, first we already had him spinning Bowser by grabbing him in the tail a lot in Super Mario 64. I'm very sure I saw that. I mean, I totally saw that. But this was insane. I mean, actually, that was really fun. In fact, the entire game was fun, except for the parts that I mentioned that were really frustrating. And the ending is kind of unusual. Mario and Bowser kind of have an argument between sending Peach gifts, and one thing I don't get, Peach kind of turned her back on both of them, and yet she didn't, and yet she actually doesn't mind, and she actually felt a bit better when Mario was coming back to the ship. Now, yes, that did happen, and if you already beat Bowser, you get to finish. You get to see Peach in other worlds, and those times Peach actually seems to like. Peach actually starts to like Mario, and maybe the same for TR. I'm trying to wonder. I wonder what Cappy says to Tiara after trying to find her for so long. Like imagine a cool line, like a really good line. But I understand. I've heard that Shigeru Miyamoto is not all plot. He's just about simple fun. But when you're able to do a strong plot, this game already had a really cool one, really good one, like very good one. And while plot and even though the plot was never its strong suit in Mario games, times where there were plots, they were really good ones. Especially Mario Galaxy and this was already very interesting, and I honestly hope Shigeru, I honestly hope Mario game there are more Mario games that continue to have cool plots, good gameplay, and I also hope Nintendo can adapt to make many other kinds of Mario games where Mario does something, where he does much different quests, where he doesn't always have to be saving Peach, and he can have he can be able to fight different villains too. I mean, can you imagine him saving the entire world from some evil being, like what the many of the Nintendo characters fought against Taboo for? They fought him for the world, and like pretty much, I mean, top and many other evil organizations. But yeah, can you imagine something of now? Can you just imagine what it would be if Mario could actually fight another villain that wasn't him? Now, plot stuff aside already, this game was actually really, really fun. Do I recommend it? You've probably guessed it. Yes. And what I recommend now, since I would totally recommend playing it, I also do recommend buying it when you get a chance, because I'm very sure, I definitely believe that many of you guys will get plenty of enjoyment in this game out of plenty of Mario games. Heck, this is probably the first Mario platformer game to actually be rated E10. Okay, well that's not really important, but yeah, I'm actually glad Nintendo could actually make something that not only has not just a good plot like I mentioned, but also really good gameplay, really cool concepts, and also really, really good gameplay. I mean, this was already really fun to begin with, and I'm glad Nintendo can make something this amazing. So for right now, I'll see you another time, and as always, peace.